chain. It has established a right background in the tourism sectors of Sri Lanka to expertise management and sustainable tourism practices globally. As tourism activities of Aitken Spain's hotel and luxury accommodations, including Kandalam Hotel, Heritage Resorts, and destination management, inbound travel operating, airline GSA are the few of the list. For the Europe tourist business partners of Aitken Spain's FlySmart, Jazeera Airways, Real Europe, CWT shipping companies, Clubmit are also the few of the list. As the second point of my presentation, here I am going to explain about the background of tourism industry in Sri Lanka. The point has been categorized for the three main parts of past, present and future expectations of tourism industry in Sri Lanka. For the past, tourism has been one of the most dynamically growing industry in the world. In Sri Lanka, it's the third largest source of foreign currency earner by contributing 4.3% for the local GDP in 2019. A drop of 21% due to the April 29 Easter terror attack gave a shock to the tourism industry in Sri Lanka. Totally 402,607 people employed in the tourist sector. 173,500 are direct and 279,015 are involved indirectly. In the present, tourism sector is affected by COVID-19. The total number of international tourists arrived to Sri Lanka during August in 2021 was 5,040. During the first 8 months of the year, it was 24,377, down by 95.2% year on year. And Sri Lanka reopened the borders on 21st January 2021 following a 10-month pandemic induced closure since 18th March 2020. Canada was the largest source of tourist traffic to Sri Lanka in August with 11.8%, Germany 10.2%, UK 9.7%, India 8.0%, and US 6.2%. Visitors from Europe became the largest source of tourists in Sri Lanka with 48.1% of total arrivals in August. Asia Pacific accounted for 31.8% and America accounted for 18.1% for the total arrivals to Sri Lanka. For the future, overcoming all the difficulties, Sri Lanka tourism sector expects 10,000 tourist arrivals 12 months time. In the long term, Sri Lanka expects 250,000 in 2022 according to our economic models. Considering all the factors above, it can spend steps up to rebuild their market segments with Europe by implementing a 5-year action plan. As my third point, I am going to explain about the SWOT analysis of Sri Lanka. In the SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats are measured. In threats, rich biodiversity within the country, sufficient hospitality as a result of rural and social values are creating the more strength to the Sri Lankan tourism industry. And strengths are the pillars of opportunities. In opportunities, infrastructure development, government assistance to rebuild tourist attraction can be highly mentioned. Strengths and opportunities altogether make tourists more interested about Sri Lanka. As weaknesses, lack of infrastructure, especially in rural areas, massive intervention from government have to be especially managed because weaknesses make threats. In the consideration of threats, terrorism and natural hazard, increase of arrival of budget travelers have to be minimized. In order to welcome tourists again to Sri Lanka, we have to overcome all these weaknesses and threats. In my research, I have paid my attention for the pestle analysis of Sri Lanka as well. In pestle analysis, political, economic, social, technology, legal, environmental factors are measured. In political view, terrorism activities such as Easter Sunday attack and economic perspective, high foreign exchange gains due to depreciations of local currency. In social environment, indirect employment in tourism, and in technology, use of big data to enhance customer service and manage potential customers. For the legal framework, enforcement of new laws and regulations to tourist destinations with environmental factors. In the environmental factors, environmental pollutions are the main concern of rebuilding tourism industry in Sri Lanka. The main purpose of analyzing the sort and pestle of Sri Lanka is to determine the areas where we should focus our attention in developing 5-year action plan to rebuild the tourism sector with European partners. Then let's go to 5-year action plan. In recommended action plan, I have categorized it into three main parts of action, duration and potential outcome. My first action is use social networking and platforms in order to promote Sri Lanka as a safe and risk-free. The duration is 18 months. Potential outcome is increased tourist arrivals in Sri Lanka. The second action is strictly a dare to a tourist bubble mechanism and also mandate vaccine for all. The time period is 2 years. Potential outcome attract tourists while maintaining health and safety of tourists and Sri Lankan community. For the fourth action, arranging host festivals in low attraction segments such as surf festivals in coastal areas in Sri Lanka. The duration is 2 years. Potential outcome is attract higher spending tourists to areas where they generally facilitate low spending tourists. Fifth one is develop Ayurveda treatment centers and research for tourists. It's for 5 years. Potential outcome is increased revenue through the industry expansion. For the conclusion, as a first priority, Sri Lanka tourist sector should build a trust that Sri Lanka is safe for tourists. It can spend creates alternatives to mass tourism such as sustainable rural tourism, environmental tourism, and theme-based circuit tourism, which can help rebuild the Sri Lanka tourism with European tourist partners. Thank you.